Welcome to Your Truth. It's easy to forget that many people surround and influence the president with his decisions and policymaking. This Your Truth expose will highlight the biggest names in the Obama administration to understand their pasts and where they may take our country in the future. So let's start with Janet Napolitano, who was sworn in as the third Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, or the DHS. The DHS is a relatively new department created in 2003 with the stated purpose of protecting Americans from future terrorist attacks. They're also tasked with emergency management, as you may remember from the department's gross mishandling of the Hurricane Katrina disaster. The New York Times reported that DHS employees were caught using government-issued credit cards to buy things like beer brewing kits, iPods, and plasma TVs when they were supposed to be using these cards to help the hurricane victims. Despite such instances of poor management, the department's annual budget has been bolstered from $28 billion in 2003 to $42.7 billion for 2010. As it expands in scope and power, every American should be aware of who is in charge of this department. So who is Janet Napolitano? Well, she was a former governor and attorney general of Arizona, and she was appointed a U.S. attorney by former President Bill Clinton. Recently, Janet has come under fire for her department's April 2009 report on right-wing extremism. The report targeted disgruntled returning war veterans as likely candidates for recruitment by radical groups. Veteran groups like Vets for Freedom found the report insensitive and unfair. Even though she apologized for offending war veterans, she still stood by the basic tenets of the document. An even more controversial DHS document came out just weeks earlier.
Another controversial report and more damage control from the Department of Homeland Security. The same department that issued a report suggesting returning war veterans were susceptible to extremist groups, also issuing what it calls the, quote, domestic extremism lexicon, end quote. It's like a dictionary with definitions for various extremist or terrorist groups and some definitions. Here's an entry: anti-immigration extremism. The Department of Homeland Security's definition: people who are, quote, highly critical of the U.S. government's response to illegal immigration and oppose government programs that are designed to extend rights to illegal aliens, such as driver's licenses and in-state tuition. Here's another one: single-issue extremist groups. According to the DHS dictionary, there are individuals who focus on a single cause, such as animal rights or the environment. They are also described as special interest extremists. And this, anti-technology extremism, also referred to as neo-Luddites. These apparently are individuals who are opposed to technology. This document could have been produced by someone in China under Mao Zedong, or it could have been produced in the Nixon administration.
This 12-page dictionary is a collection of groups and ideologies that constitute domestic extremism. Most shockingly, alternative media is identified as one example. The DHS defines alternative media as a form for interpretations of events and issues that differ radically from those presented in mass media products and outlets. Wait a minute, isn't that what the right to free speech is all about? But there's more. The document also targeted people who think animals have the right to life and the freedom to engage in normal animal behavior as animal rights extremists. Even practicing completely legal civil disobedience is a concern for Homeland Security. Even though the DHS has since rescinded the report, that doesn't mean that its positions on domestic extremism have changed. Janet Napolitano has the opportunity to do great things in her current position. Yet in light of her department's recent reports, it seems that she has forgotten that her job is to protect the American people, not target them. Now that we know what kind of ideas Homeland Security has for our country, let's watch Napolitano as closely as she's watching us.